Playing this guy No Mercy, dude. This is awesome. Dude, this is so cool, man. Fuck yeah, dude.
No way.
Playing some random from some fucking Discord server, dude. No mercy, bro. We're watching the intros come out right now. He picked Mankind, dude. I'm Perry Saturn, he picked Mankind.
Nice. Perry Saturn. Holy shit, I haven't heard that name in 10 years.
Look, I'm cleaning my keyboard.
Perry Saturn, good God.
My keyboard talks when it's being cleaned. You guys have like an SBC chaos room.
Is that Doomgazer, bro?
It is. It is I, Doomgazer.
Dude, I'm playing this fucking, like, this guy, this random.
It's I, Doomgazer.
Dude, I was like looking up like ancient Rome shit. I was like reading about like emperors like Caligula and Nero and shit. And I was like, oh, there was a movie called Caligula. Like, let me take a quick look, and thought it was like a clip of the movie. And it ended up being like the whole movie. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just watch this movie.
Yeah.
Dude, this fucking movie is the most fucked up movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, Caligula.
Have you ever heard of this movie?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Dude, I'm like, first of all, I couldn't believe what I was like, dude, I didn't, I read about it and now I understand it. It was like directed by Penthouse director or something. It's like a fucking straight up porno, dude, like half the time. I'm like, is that a real, I was like, is she really sucking like a real dick? Like, first I thought it was like fake. Like the first scene, they showed some like scene where some gets like sucking some guard's dick or something. I'm like, well, that's kind of weird, you know? But like the whole movie has that shit, and then it has like all this fucking like crazy fucking bloody part. Dude, they fill this one dude, they like tie his fucking dick shut, and then they feed him with wine, and they fucking make his belly like swollen with wine, and they just fill him up with wine, and then they cut his gut, dude. And then this other guy, they fucking like cut him up, dude, and they cut off his dick and like feed it to a dog, bro.
What the fuck?
The movie's and the main guy who plays Caligula is fucking the guy from Clockwork Orange, bro.
Oh.
So he plays a fucking nut job, fucking perfect.
Yeah, I guess.
Although I was reading a lot about the history of Caligula, I think a lot of the, I mean, it's probably a lot of, you know, some of it's true, some of it isn't, but back then, the politicians that killed him off, there's like, you know, there's a lot of rumors that Caligula was a fucking nut, you know, he was like banging his sister, he's fucking like banging all his sisters, and he's fucking like, he was into like killing people and like cutting them up and torturing them and shit. But a lot of that could be bad rumor, because the politicians took him out, you know. There's a lot of things that he did. He put in some aqueducts, you know, he fucking...
Oh.
All the people really liked him. But then in the end, he started to get nuts. He tried to like piss off the Jews and put a statue of himself in the Jewish temple, and they were like revolting. And then he like, what else did he do? He built some fucking bridge for no reason, just to show that he could build it. It was like 2 miles long. They like took it apart like a week later and just wasted a bunch of money. He was notoriously known for like wasting money and having like sex orgies at his palace. So I don't know how much of it was like true. He did. He turned they said he turned the fucking palace into a brothel. Yeah. And in the movie, he like pimps out the politicians. I mean, I don't know that part is very accurate. He like pimps out the politicians' wives. That's like one of the reasons why they want to like kill him and shit. He's like insulting them. Like he goes crazy. He thinks he's a god, and then he just starts like insulting all the politicians on purpose. So they're just like, I had enough of this shit. The best part is actually the ending when he fucks with the Presbyterian guard for the last time. He's just like, password, and he's like, scrotum, and he's like, have it your way, and he like takes out his sword, and he's like fucking hacks him right in the face. So like, he's got a joke. I was like, what? Like I didn't expect it because it was like his right hand guy, and I know they were like planning to kill him like in the history, but I didn't think it was gonna be like right then and there. And then just the way it happened, it was funny because he always like fucks with like they're always trying to act serious, and he always like makes a mockery of it. You know, they're like, sir, we need you to like sign these documents, and he's like, in the name of Caesar, in the name of Caesar. He's just like making fun of it and like kicking the papers around and shit, and they're all like always shaking their heads like this fucking guy, you know. And the best scene is just at the end when he's like password, and he's like, scrotum sack or something, and he's like, all right, buddy, he's like, have it your way, and he like takes out the sword, he's like, he fucking hits us. What?
Oh shit.
But you're kind of like good because you watch the whole movie. This guy's just like sadistic and fucked up. Like, dude, there one guy, like, I almost like don't understand how fucked up this part is. Like, there's some guy, like he's like banging his sister, and then like he has to marry, like he's not allowed to marry his sister, so he has to like find a wife, and he's like going through this bathhouse, and he's like checking out all these chicks. Like, oh, I'm gonna take this chick, and he sees like one hot girl, and his sister's like, oh, she's marrying this one of your best like soldier guards or something, and he's like, oh, that, and she's like, who? He's like, who's that? And he just gets jealous that she's just marrying this dude, so he honors her wedding.
Good game.
Part of this is actually true in history. He did have, so Caligula had a thing for like banging other people's wives and pissing them off. You know, they kind of like incorporate that in the movie. But yeah, he like graces their wedding. He's like, yo, I'll give you a wedding gift. He's like, come in here, and like they go into this room, and then he's like, take off your clothes, dude. And he like bangs his wife right in front of him, and then he and then he says he's gonna bang him, and he doesn't. He uses a radish and sticks it up his ass or something. But then what's fucked up, after he does this fucked up shit to this guy, dude, like later in the movie, he just has that guy strung up on a thing, and he's like, why are you doing this to me, Caesar? He's like, I'm loyal, what did I do to you? And he's like, that's the problem. He's like, you're too honest, man. He's like, you're an honest Roman. He's like, that makes you a bad Roman. And that's the guy, they like cut him up, dude, and fucking cut his dick off and fucking throw it to a dog, and then these girls come over and piss on him. I'm like, dude, what is this movie?
That's crazy, man. I'm playing the guy in a cage match on No Mercy right now. This is fucking nuts, dude.
Like, and on top of how fucked up it was, he like fucked the guy's wife, like sodomized him, and then later in the movie, like killed him for no reason. Cut off his dick. And then he was like, have the rest of him sent to his wife, you know? So they definitely made him a real asshole in the movie, but I think from the history that a lot, I mean, there probably is some truth to it, but I think a lot of it was to vilify or to like give him a bad name because the politicians didn't like him.
Yeah.
Obviously, they fucking conspired to fucking have him killed, stabbed him like 1,000 times in a fucking passageway. And then they smashed his kid's head, so there's no heirs, because if he dies, immediately like his daughter or somebody else becomes in charge, right? So they fucking killed. This is actually true. When they killed him, they killed his wife, and they took his little girl's head and smashed it on a fucking wall, dude. And in the movie, they actually do that. Like they after he fucking hits Caligula and kills him and stabs his wife, he like nods to this guy. They like take the girl, bro, and fucking bashes her head into a fucking wall, dude. Crazy. I was like, and I had no idea, man. Like, I've never heard of this movie, so I was just like, what the fuck? And then I looked it up, and I just saw, like, all this controversy. Like, they were sued. It was originally getting an X rating, because it is, dude. It's, like, straight-up porn, bro. There's, like, scenes that are straight-up porn. I was like, this can't be real. I'm like, this is a movie, you know? Like, I even thought it was fake, and then I just started like, no, dude, this is real porn. They're, like, showing some guy's dick going in a pussy. I'm like, what is this? You know, in a movie? I was like, what is like, I didn't want to believe it. I kept thinking it was just like fake stage props, you know? Well, I guess I'm talking as the last thing I fucking was.
Damn it. He picked
Like I
Triple
said, I
H.
thought I was watching Peace. I ended up watching this whole fucking movie, man. Like, what the fuck? The other part that's weird, I don't know why they put this in the movie. I tried to look it up, and I don't think the Romans... Like, when they cut off this dude's head, they had this, like, weird, like, fucking machine, and I just didn't understand what it was. They have, like, this machine, it's like a giant, like... I think it's dude. It's like a wall. And these guys are, like, turning these wheels, and, like, it's like a lawn... Like, it has these blades underneath. Like, they basically bury people, like, at head height. And then they take this giant lawnmower that, like, cuts their heads off. Dude. And I don't... It's like a giant fucking wall that they, like, push, and it's got these spinning blades, and they're, like, each guy's head, they, like, throw, like, apples and shit at their head. Like, all the people while they're cutting off their head.
That's fucked, man.
Yeah, this movie's fucking fucked up.
You shouldn't be watching things like that.
I mean, I was, like, mind blown with how fucked up the movie was.
You should.
And I had no idea. I've never heard. I was just like looking up Caligula. And I'm like, oh, there's a movie. Let me see a clip.
Yeah.
And it ended up being the whole movie. I'm like, and then I just started watching it. Like,
What's up, y'all? What were you watching?
dude, the most fucked up movie I've ever seen, bro.
What's that?
Caligula.
Oh yeah,
From
I've seen
19
that. Oh.
I never knew anything about it, dude. I was just looking up, like, I was reading about, you know, Roman emperors and stuff, and I was like, oh, Caligula had a movie, and I just wanted
Bullshit, man.
to see if it was like a clip. It ended up being the full movie, and I kept watching it. I couldn't, like...
Did you jack off?
I couldn't look away.
No, I kept thinking, because when I didn't know anything about it. When I kept seeing, like, dicks and shit, like, I thought it was fake at first. Like, I was like, oh. I was like, those must be a prop or something. And then I realized, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, that's like a real dick. I'm like, what is this movie, man? I'm like, this is like straight up porn. And then I looked it up, and I saw all the controversy, like a Penthouse guy made it, all that other shit. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was banned in like every country, but yeah, I've seen it. I mean, it was alright. It wasn't even that great of a movie, but yeah, it's almost like a porno a little bit.
Yeah, it's just really fucked up. It's weird.
I've got a movie
It's
for
just like
you
the
that'll
fucked up
really
shit he does. He like
change your life.
fucks that guy's and then, like, cuts his dick off and like for no reason and shit.
You should watch a movie called A Serbian Film.
The Serbian film.
I highly recommend it.
Oh, you
What
know
is that?
Serbians are crazy.
It's about an out-of-work porn star.
Yeah, it was basically like a I didn't expect it to because it had fucking the guy from like Clockwork Orange and Tim O'Toole. It had like good actors in it, so that's why I was confused when I saw like the porn. I'm like, what the hell is? I didn't even think it was real. Like I didn't believe at first. I was like, these must be like props. And then by the middle of the movie, I'm like, no, man, this is like a real bitch sucking on dude's dick. Like I'm like, this is like, what the fuck is this, man? I was like, how are they even allowed to make this movie? Like,
It's just like porno.
it straight up was. Well, after the whole thing, it had all these weird. It never got an X rating. It got like an UN rating, and then they like didn't want it in America. And then I read like Penthouse got sued. Just really weird movie.
Yeah.
But the guy, McDowell, you know, the guy from Clockwork Orange, is the best guy in the movie. He always plays a good psycho, you know?
Yeah, it was interesting.
Like, it's straight, it's like the writing was bad, but the acting was good. It's such a weird movie. It's like, the acting's good, but, like, the writing was bad. Like, here's the thing. Like, the movie would have been much better if they just, like, took all the weird porn shit out of it. Like, it was just way overdone with the porn shit. There was just too many scenes where they're just like, like, for example, when he's like one scene, like he's about to have an intimate thing where he's like gonna bang his sister, and then for some reason they just show two other lesbian chicks somewhere else in the castle, like fucking around, like who are these? I'm like, who are these bitches? What do they have to do with the movie? You know?
It's just trying to depict the whole decay of that period in that time when you had a leader that was so just all over the place. So that was really, I guess they wanted to show that. But yeah,
They
they
wanted
could
to
have
show that he made the palace into a big orgy fest and all that shit.
Yeah, all indulgence and all that bullshit, you know. But the guy,
Well,
you know, he was a bad leader, and they essentially got rid of him, and that was the whole basic story.
Well, the thing with Caligula in reality is he actually was like in the beginning, he did like a lot of things that they liked. Like he built some aqueducts, he did a lot of good stuff, but then at the end, like within a year's time, it's crazy because his whole reign was only like 3 or 4 years as long as about President's been Trump. That even seems like nothing. But he has like this whole fucking crazy story.